Hi, I'm Pastor Manny Dunlap. Welcome to another edition of Spiritual Climate Change. You know, I trust that if you've been tuning into my videos that they've been an encouragement to you. You know, my goal in these videos is to communicate to you the things that the Lord's been speaking to me. And I just can't help but get excited about the things that the Lord has been doing in His church. Now, if you notice, I'm sitting on this tractor that our church bought just last year. And even though it's a bit aged, it works great, and I was able to do a lot of road work here on our new property out here, distributing some road base on the roads, make them a little better to drive on. But in a nutshell, you know, this message of spiritual climate change that the Lord has given me, simply stated, it's just that God is changing the spiritual climate within His people and also around His people. Now, in the natural sense, you know, climate is not just focused on one local area, but, you know, a climate encompasses a large region. And it's the same in the spiritual sense. And my goal with this message of spiritual climate change is to perk up the ears, the spiritual ears of those that God is speaking to. Now, we find in the Old Testament and in the New Testament where God is talking about tuning our ears into His voice and understanding what it is that He's saying. In the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 6, it says, "He that has an ear to hear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the churches." So this clearly implies that some are hearing what God is saying and some are not. And we want to be those who not only hear what God's saying, but we can clearly be those who want to be doers of the word and not just hearers. In the book of John chapter 10, verse 27, Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." And all through my ministry, I've always been real big on the fact that we need to hear God's voice. And this stems from the experience that I had with the Lord as a young man when He spoke to me spirit to spirit. And after the Lord spoke to me, I called my wife's grandmother, and her name's May, and I asked her, "Has God ever spoken to you?" And she was just so elated over the phone because she knew immediately that the Lord had spoken to me, and she had been praying for both my wife Cheryl and myself. Now, not only does the Lord speak directly to us by His Spirit, but He also communicates to us in other ways. For an example, just this past Wednesday, while I was in prayer with Trish, who is the prayer and ministry director here at our church, I began seeing a vision while we were praying. Now, visions are very biblical, and so are dreams. In the book of Acts chapter 2, verse 17, it says, "It shall come to pass in the last days, that God said, I'll pour out my Spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and your daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions, and your old men will dream dreams." So getting back to this vision that I had while I was in prayer, I saw an old horse-drawn wagon, and the horse was hooked up to this wagon, and it was sitting in front of a field. And this vision was set back in time at least 100 years, and as the vision continued, I saw people dressed like farmers, and they were wearing overalls, and they were loading tools into this old wagon. And the tools were these old-fashioned tools that would be used for harvesting a crop. And I saw shovels and hoes and different types of farming tools being loaded into this old-fashioned wagon. And then I noticed that there was a man sitting at a table next to the wagon, and he had papers in front of him, and he was writing on the papers. And in front of that table was a very long line of people. In fact, the line of people was so long that I couldn't even see the end of it. And I realized immediately that the people in the line were being hired to go and work in the harvest fields. Now, the man at the table was hiring them and giving each one of them specific assignments. And this is where this vision ended. Now, my wife and I are very prophetic, and we have built the church that the Lord has given us by the power of the prophetic word. Now, this vision that I had was very prophetic. And this message is something that is very near and dear to my heart. And that is the Lord's harvest. You know, this vision speaks of the preparation that the Lord is now doing for a great harvest. And the people lined up at that table, there were those that heard the call of the Lord, and they were willing to be laborers in the Lord's field. And I want to say this, don't think that there is not compensation for those who are willing to serve God. You can be assured that the man at the table, he was getting all those people's information, and he was going to be paying them at the end of that workday. Now in the book of 1 Timothy 5 and 18, it says here, the scripture says that thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treads out the corn, and the laborer is worthy of his reward. And then we read again in Revelation 22:12. Jesus said, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. Now, the vision I had is extremely prophetic, and the Lord speaks to us in many different ways. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to have to wrap up this video here just in a moment, but I have a lot more to say concerning this vision. Now, if you feel that the Lord is calling you into His harvest, I want you to go to my new website, spiritualclimatechange.com. Now, on the home page of that website, there's a form that you can put your name and email address, and this will put you on my email mailing list. And you're going to receive updates of things that I share that the Lord is speaking to me. Now, the Lord is on the move, and we have people in our church who have been joining together with other groups of people, and they're going out and they're sharing the love of Jesus with people, and they're seeing God do miraculous things. Now, there are many different areas of service in God's harvest. And my goal is to help you find your area of service that the Lord has called you to, so that you can use the gifting that the Lord has specifically given you. Well, that's going to have to wrap it up for today's video. If you'd like to see previous videos, you can go to our Facebook page, Mountain Life Church Cripple Creek. You can also go to my new website, spiritualclimatechange.com. And there's all the videos that I've posted there about this message. If you've recently received Christ, or if you'd like to become a Christian, I'd like to send you a free book that'll help you on your journey as a new Christian. You can contact me at Pastor Manny at mountainlifechurch.net. As always, if you're in the area up here outside Cripple Creek or anywhere here in southern Colorado, you can come visit Mountain Life Church. We're just outside of Cripple Creek, Colorado. We have services Sunday morning at 10:30. Our services are always spirit-filled, and they are uplifting. You know, together, let's allow the Lord to change our spiritual climate. Stay tuned on my website, Spiritual Climate Change. I'm going to be sharing all kinds of new things that the Lord has been showing me as we go into this great time of harvest. Until next time, I'm Pastor Manny. Be blessed and be a blessing.